Welcome to Type C Tech Reviews. Today we're going to be unboxing the TCL 5 Series. This is the 2022 latest model. If at any point during the video you want to check out this exact same model, which is the 50S555, Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links. But let's get this thing unboxed. A price tag of $429.99, ranging up to $599.99 for the 65, and then $899.99 for the 75. So pretty competitive pricing. I would say either this model or the 65-inch would probably be the best bang for your buck. So right in the top of the box, we have the manual, and then also in here, we have TCL branded batteries for the remote, clips and screws for what I believe is going to be the stand, the power cable, and then the remote itself. Let's check this out before we get more in depth into the unboxing. All right, so here is the remote. These are rubber coated right here. So are these, so is the power button. These are plastic, although if you can get a listen to the clicks, I'm gonna put it up to my mic. Very, very solid. There's no wiggle here. This actually feels quite premium. Then you have Netflix, Disney Plus, Apple TV, and HBO Max. These may differ, but you're probably definitely gonna have Netflix and you're definitely gonna have Disney Plus. Then on the side, we have the mute, volume down, and volume up. All of these buttons actually feel better than the previous generation, and it's a little more squared off on top, a little bit more premium looking. All right, then also in the top of the box, we have both pieces of the stand. This is the left piece of the stand. I cannot tell if this is plastic or metal, although I think it's just a very dense, very solid plastic, but it does look nice and premium, but obviously not like the higher end 6 Series or other higher end TVs from other manufacturers, but overall pretty good. And then we have the other one over here. All right, with that out of the way, we're gonna take the top off now. And here is the 5 Series. You can see it's very nicely packaged. I'm gonna see if I can lift this up by myself. Okay, lifting this up. We're gonna set it down, right down on the rug like that. We're gonna pull the plastic off. Now this is actually not too heavy. This is obviously the 50-inch. All right, now with all that plastic off, we're gonna get these stands in here. I don't think it actually matters which one is left or right since I believe that they're identical. All right, now always my classic way of getting these on, the easier way is to kind of just take a pillow, put it under the bottom side of this, just kind of get those tilted up. Got these long screws and just screw those in. And obviously repeat for the other side. All right, now with the stand on it, we're gonna get it set up on that TV stand. Then we're gonna do an initial impressions, go through the setup process with you, and we're gonna do a gaming impressions as well as just checking out some content on it, see how it does right out of the box, see my initial impressions. Let's do it. All right, guys, now we have the TV plugged in. We got the Series X down there that we're about to hook up, but before we do that, we're gonna take the plastic off, and before that, I'm gonna show you the ports. So come on over here. All right, starting off, we got an Ethernet port, 4 HDMI. These are all 2.0, I believe, but that'll be in the full review. This one down here is an eARC, so if you do wanna connect your stuff, your sound bar, stuff like that, then you can do that. You have your cable, a USB type A, AV in, 3.5mm audio out, and then an optical audio out. So that is sweet. And then the only other port that we have is on the other side, and that's where the power is. So you do have your power connection over on this side. Without further ado, let's take this plastic off. Very, very satisfying. I will say one kind of new thing about this 5 Series is these squared off edges, which just look really, really good. And there we go. Overall, from the price, you would expect this to look a little bit more budget, but these legs actually look pretty premium, even though they are just plastic. But this part down here looks nice and thin, which does definitely not look budget. And then if you come over here from the edge, this has a totally squared off design, which looks really, really premium. I really like that touch. All right, but let's get this thing turned on. Turning it on with the remote, and there we go. It's in the startup mode, so we're gonna select English, United States. We're gonna connect it to a wireless network. Now it is fully connected to the network. I just wanna say right off the bat, the Roku TV, which is the OS that's built in, this has been really, really fast so far. All right, so we gotta do a little update, which is going pretty quick. All right, so after putting my email address, I'm just covering it up right there. I'm gonna go onto my phone, tap that activation link, and this is where I can set all of this up. I'm just gonna keep it with the original name, which is just 50-inch. I'm gonna say I've read and approved all that stuff. We're gonna choose which room, which we're in the living room right now, so we'll continue. And it'll ask you to set up a payment method. You don't actually have to do this if you don't want to. This is just for like shows and things. So we can actually scroll past this and go skip this step, which I always do. It'll ask you a few questions and then you can just click on what you currently subscribe to. So I'm just gonna click Hulu, Prime, Disney Plus, HBO Max, and then we'll just click continue. There's some other questions, but I'm just gonna skip those. And then you can see here, it's gonna actually add some channels in, whether it's gonna be maybe like Netflix or Hulu or whatever your things are. This should take, I mean, you can see it's going pretty quick. And then in this section, you can just connect your devices, I'm gonna do this later, and then we're all done. Now, this will go through a bunch of things, so if you don't actually know how to use Roku, this will kind of teach you how, but it's kind of self-explanatory. And then now, here we're in the menu system. This is something interesting. I wanna see how responsive this is, so I'm gonna show you the remote so you can see when I click. So far, incredibly, I mean, super, super fast. Let's try going into YouTube. So it's kind of download it really quick. Does that pretty fast. This is obviously the first time we're loading into this app, so it is going to be quite a bit slower. But now we're in. You can see very, very quick to go through things. Let's go back and try to go back into it, see how fast it'll pick back up. All right, so now we're gonna go and click it back in, and loading in, there we go. Pretty fast. I would say that's just as fast as my 2020 or 2021 6 series, which is pretty cool. All right, so now we're just gonna test out to see how pretty this picture is. This is a VA panel, so if you do come to the side, there is going to be some noticeable washing out. For me personally, even someone that's really big with screens, this doesn't bother me too much. You can see at this angle, this is perfectly viewable, but right here is where the picture gets much more vibrant and just pretty. Right about here is where the image starts to degrade much more, but it just washes out. You still maintain those colors, they're just not quite as vibrant. But right here is obviously where it's gonna look good, and the best viewing distance is obviously from right there in the middle. But you can see here, at 4K, beautiful image. The colors look really, really good. The nice blue hues here. You have some orangey stuff there. I mean, it's a very clear, very pretty image off the bat. Also, we're gonna go into the menu, click this button and it'll pull up the picture settings. So we're gonna go into the picture settings and we're gonna set this, it is to the brightest setting. Thank you, TCL, for doing that. So you can see we have darker, dark, normal, bright, and brighter. So this is the max brightness, but I can tell you right away, it's definitely bright enough. This is a pretty bright living room right now. I know on screen, it's going to appear very dark, but right now it is the middle of the day and it's a cloudless day. We have one window over here, one window over there, a mirror, and tons of windows out here. So there is definitely a lot of light in this room. We just have the ISO cranked down so that you actually see the screen, it's not blown out. Now the next thing is we're gonna test out the speakers. I don't expect these to be very good at all, but let's try them out. All right, so this is at 20% volume. So far, I'm actually pretty impressed. This is pretty dang clear. Yeah, very clear and a little bit more bass than I was expecting. Obviously not a subwoofer levels, but we're gonna turn this up to 50%. Yeah, that's actually very good. This gets very, very loud. Let's turn it up to 100% just for the video. That gets really, really, really loud. Way louder than I would ever have this. So overall, I'm actually pretty impressed. Obviously, bass is lacking, but there was more bass than I expected. It wasn't just trebly, so you could definitely watch some sports on there, watch some news on there, stuff like that. Obviously, if you want a more cinematic experience, you're probably gonna have to bump it up to a sound bar or some bookshelf speakers, things like that. All right, now the last thing to check out is what we're gonna do is two things at one time. This is full array local dimming. It doesn't have a crazy amount of dimming zones. I think around 30 or 40 local dimming zones. Yeah, so there's the local contrast. They call it local contrast, but you can see here the local dimming zones. It's in high, so if we do turn that off, it's not gonna have local dimming zones, but we want those on. What we're gonna do now is we're gonna switch in, see how good it games on a Xbox Series X. And the cool thing is, it actually recognized this as an Xbox before I even did anything. All I did was plug it in, so let's click on that. And there we go, it has it right pulled up. We're also gonna make sure this is in the game mode, so I think we go into picture mode and then game mode. So you can see right here, game mode, we're gonna set this to on. This is gonna decrease the input lag, but have a slightly worse image quality, although most of you probably will not know the difference, but you will notice lower input lag, which is really important. All right, guys, now here in Forza Horizon 5, the image looks absolutely beautiful. The blues of the sky are super, super deep, but the main thing that we wanna see, how good is the input lag? And I'm gonna tell you right away, I'm actually surprised at how good the input lag is for the price of this TV. This is really, really quick. Just from a feeling standpoint, this is significantly faster than I expected. You can see when I click it, we're gonna go from 5th gear and go all the way down. 4th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st. I mean, very, very fast, very, very quick. This is actually way faster than I was expecting. I was kind of expecting it to be slower just because of the price of this TV, but TVs are getting so good with their gaming performance now, it's pretty amazing. The overall image is really good, the gaming performance is good. I'm sure that game mode did quite a bit. And if we go in here, we might be able to see the local dimming zones, possibly. You might be able to see, you can see here, a little bit of bloom. So that's probably I mean, I'm not sure if that's just the game, but that may be the local dimming zone, although we will have a full test for that in the full review. As of right now, I am very impressed with this. The only real negative that you're gonna see here is not having a massive amount of full array local dimming zones and obviously the viewing angles. That's something that most TCL TVs struggle with because they're using VA panels or modified VA panels, what they like to call QLED. All right, but again, if you wanna check it out, Amazon links below for the US, UK, Canada, and international links. We will be doing a very full, in-depth review of this coming in a few days, so definitely subscribe below if you wanna check that out. But as of right now, if you want to check it out, again, there are links below. But this was Type C Tech Reviews, and I'll see you guys in the next video.